In this video, we're going to show you how to set up and connect the Shure SM7B dynamic microphone with your computer for podcasting, live streaming, video conferencing, or music production. Now, for the purposes of this video right now, you are listening to the lav mic. There's a logo up in the top corner letting you know what microphone you're listening to. When we connect the SM7B, of course, you'll be able to hear how it sounds connected to the computer, and this logo will change so you know what you're listening to. Now, if you are looking for pricing or specs for anything that we discuss in this video to help you set up your microphone, we have links down in the description below to help find you the best price possible from a variety of online retailers and to make sure that you're finding the specs and availability that you're looking for. Now, first of all, when you open up the box, you get the SM7B with another windscreen. We're going to come back to this windscreen towards the end of the video, but you just get the microphone. It does not stand well on its own and it can't connect to anything. So the first thing we need is some type of stand. For years, we used these inexpensive table stands. They work super good. You just drop them on the table. You can adjust the height. And if you're just trying to get going quickly on a low budget, these are a really good solution. The downside of these is that you do hear a lot of bumps and clicks coming all the way through the table. They don't do any like shock isolation or anything like that. If you're looking for an upgraded option, we love the Rode PSA 1 Plus boom arm. Not only does it give you a little bit more flexibility and it takes the microphone off the table that's in front of you, but it does offer quite a bit more sound absorption coming through the table. If you can imagine, it has to go through the table, through the mount, through the stand. There's all this neoprene and material there to absorb those bumps. So it does make a really big difference in the sound isolation. The Shure SM7B does have some sound isolation built into it, but putting it on a proper boom arm like the Rode PSA 1 Plus does give you more of that. Plus, with the Rode PSA 1 Plus, this is my favorite stand. I use it every single day, and the reason is this. No matter how you orient the microphone, it just sits. It is very, very common that you can spend a lot of money on a boom arm that will slowly float, and it can be quite distracting. Or some float, some dip. So it depends on what you don't like, but what I will say is that the Rode PSA and the PSA 1 Plus, they both do an awesome job of orienting the microphone, holding the microphone exactly where I leave it. Next, you might not know this, but you can't just use an XLR to 1/8 inch cable to connect this microphone to your computer. We've done a couple other videos on this in the past, and it just doesn't work. Your computer cannot power the SM7B with enough volume or intensity to give you a good sound coming out of the microphone. So you do need some type of an audio interface. Generally, I recommend these 3 audio interfaces for the Shure SM7B, and this is why. First of all, you need a high-quality, next-gen audio interface. The previous generation of audio interfaces needed all kinds of additional outboard gear, like the Cloudlifter CL1, which became infamous at the expansion of podcasting to help make this microphone work, but you end up spending over $100. And for my money, it's much better to be spending that money on the interface to have that additional mic boost built into it than to be spending it on outboard gear. There's no point doing that. All the new audio interfaces now resolve that problem. So you need a high level of gain, a low level of hiss or noise that comes out of the preamp. You want something that has a physical mute button. Surprisingly, not all audio interfaces have a physical mute button. You want something that will also drive a high quality set of headphones. Some of these 250 ohm headphones actually need quite a bit of power to drive as well. All of these pieces of equipment resolve that, and it's nice to have some sort of software suite that allows you to mix in, music from your phone or a live stream or your game noise or all that. Each of these options here do give you a powerful software suite as well. So let's quickly talk about which items I recommend here. If you're just trying to connect the Shure SM7B and you don't have any aspirations for music production or anything like that, you just want to do some video conferencing and podcasting, the Elgato Wave XLR is awesome. It's small, it's super easy to use, really intuitive. It puts you in the Elgato family, which has a ton of software tools, and you can expand this stuff however you want. This is my favorite thing to recommend to friends who are just trying to get a SM7B connected to their computer. Next, we have the Vocaster 1, which is what I'm using today. We also have the Vocaster 2. If you're just trying to connect one or two, you're mostly doing a one-person podcast, but you want to bring in a guest, but you need some additional connectivity. There's all kinds of inputs and outputs on the back that allow you to connect this to speakers, to a video camera, and you can do all kinds of routing with it. Super cool device for a one or two person podcast. If you're wanting to expand a little bit beyond that, you have to get the Rodecaster 2. This thing is an absolute beast. It gives you a ton of tools. You can record to your computer. You can record to two computers at once. You can use it as a streaming machine. You can do all kinds of complex routing, have sound effects, tons of built-in processing, or you can disconnect everything, go set up in the middle of nowhere and record to an SD card. You don't even need to connect it to a computer. That thing is absolutely awesome. So if you're wanting to record 4 Shure SM7Bs, or you know eventually in a year or two you're going to want to, I would highly recommend this. Next, let's show you how to quickly connect and set everything up. It's a fool's errand to try and set up the microphone properly without good microphone placement. The Shure SM7B needs to be within a couple inches. I use a fist to measure, so I keep it one fist away from my mouth. That helps it sound the best. If you get too close, it's boomy and poppy. And if you get too far away, then you need to turn all your equipment up way too much and you end up hearing background noise or hissing or all kinds of stuff. So you need it nice and close. You can put it in front of you. I don't, because obviously it's distracting in a video like this. And I find that if I have it down and pointed up at my mouth, it kind of gets rid of that sound when I breathe between words. So a placement like this is what I find is optimal for me. It's comfortable if I'm typing out a computer or talking to a camera. Next, you're going to need some type of XLR cable to connect this microphone to your audio interface. All standard XLR cables will have a male and female jack on it. I would stay away from 6-foot cables. This looks like it'd be really easy to connect there to there with a 6-foot cable. Every time I end up a couple inches short. If you get a 10-foot cable or a 20-foot cable, it gives you the extra run to make a nicer, neater job of it, especially if you're into streaming and you have a ton of equipment on your desk. It just gives you that added flexibility. You also do want to make sure that you're running things nice and clean. If you're new to audio, most people that are new can kind of make a mess of it. Try to keep your cables so it looks good on camera as well. Once we've run the cable and connected it to the microphone, we can connect it to the back of our audio interface. You can see here that there's obviously only one XLR input on the back of this audio interface, so that's where we're going to connect this. Now, one thing about gain, the loudest that you can ever turn your microphone is 0 dB in a digital environment. So 0 dB is the loudest. And the risk of running into 0 dB is that you can peak or limit. Since you can't exceed, if you turn it up, you just hit that hard wall and it distorts the microphone and it sounds super, super horrible. So what I do and what most people do is they will leave themselves 12 dB of headroom, which means that you're aiming to peak somewhere between -12 and -18. You want to make sure if something dynamic happens, you laugh or you cough or something into the microphone that it doesn't peak and distort. So let's take a look at that now. I'm going to turn up the input on this Focusrite Vocaster 1. You can see right now that I'm peaking around -16 or so. So this is set up totally perfectly. This is exactly where you want your gain. Now that you can hear the Shure SM7B for the first time, this is what it sounds like. Actually, there is a little bit of processing turned on. I'm going to turn that off. So this is what the Shure SM7B sounds like for the first time with no processing turned on whatsoever. Now that you can hear the microphone, let's quickly talk about both foam windscreens that come with this microphone. Honestly, it basically comes down to cosmetics. The bigger foam windscreen does offer more pop filtering if you say P and B sounds right into the microphone. The bigger one will do a better job of it, but most people choose the better looking version if they're on camera. So I would say if you're on camera, choose the lean one and take the little bit of hit on pop filtering. But if you're doing audio only, just a strict podcast, no camera, put the bigger one on. You will get a little bit more consistency with your audio. I'm going to quickly change them now just so you can hear the difference. Okay, so this is the Shure SM7B with the bigger optional foam windscreen. I do use this sometimes, even on camera. You can see it's not that much bigger or that like prohibitive to recording with this. Just some people prefer the cosmetics of the other one. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is these switches on the back of the Shure SM7B. I leave them factory flat. If they're both switched, flat, you'll see flat lines. You don't want to see any curved lines. You can experiment on this on your own. But what I would say about this is that I would much rather have a more detailed processing anywhere else in the chain than on microphone. In the software, you can make it sound more interesting in much easier ways than what are on the switches on the back of the microphone. We do have a separate video if you want to hear the samples of that I'll link up in the top corner. The next thing I quickly want to touch on is adding some post-processing and what that's really doing for you. The first thing a lot of people add is some compression. Basically, that narrows the dynamic range of the microphone. You can think of it in really crude terms as auto mixing for you. If you're always loud and always quiet, you can get a compressor to squish down your louder moments, and you add a little bit of makeup gain, so you're working that compressor and it's just kind of pushing you into a more narrow window. The risk of over compressing is it takes the emotion out of what you're doing. You'll hear that as we run through some samples here. The next thing that kind of comes with some of these easy EQ bundles is equalization. It'll change the frequency response of the microphone. If you're just doing a one-person podcast, turn all the knobs, make yourself sound however you want. You can make your voice sound big, you can make it sound thin, whatever you want. But if you're live streaming with game noise or music or talking over a video or narrating on top of content, I want you to really think about how that microphone sits in the mix. I'm going to walk through 4 different options that are built into the Vocaster 1 here so you can hear what they sound like, and I'll give you my input on them. I'm going to turn on this easy enhance mode, which adds compression and EQ. First of all, we have this clean one. You should hear a bass roll off. It lowers the low frequencies of the microphone. Basically what this is doing is it compresses it a little bit, and it will take this microphone out of the subwoofer of the listener. This can be really appealing on a podcast where you know that people are listening to you while they drive. You don't want to be rumbling their subs while they're listening to you talk about the topic of your choice. Next, you can hear the warm version. It basically adds those lower frequencies back. You still have a little bit of compression, so you can expect that this would be a little bit more natural and a little bit compressed, so it narrows the dynamic range for you. The next is an interesting one. It's called bright. Now, this bright option is my least favorite on face value. One thing I want to say about it is you want to think about where it is mixed again. So yes, it's really high on the upper frequencies, but what you get with this is a high level of intelligibility. If you're live streaming with game noise or you're talking over a video, I guarantee your audience will hear every word you say. You're not boosting the low frequencies and you're not giving yourself a ton of presence. You're allowing the microphone to shine through the rest of your mix. So would I recommend this setting when you're just talking or a voice-only podcast? I would not recommend this setting. I think it sounds too shrill. It doesn't sound warm. If you had to listen to this for 45 minutes, it would drive you insane. But if it's on a live stream and you need people to hear you among other things, this is a viable option and you might want to test this. Next, we have probably what most people will go with. It's called radio, and this gives you that big AM radio authority that I think a lot of people are looking for with podcasts, because that's what it sounds like. If you're doing a sports show or anything like that and you just want that big radio sound, you could pick a sound like this, and I think it would give you the sound that you're looking for. Of course, there are a ton of other software options. I just show you these easy options that are built into the Vocaster 1 to, one, showcase this unit a little bit, but 2, just give you the seed in your head that the Shure SM7B doesn't need to sound all the same all the time. There's a lot of work that you can do to change the sound of this microphone depending on how you're mixing it with things on your live stream podcast or whatever you're doing. If you are looking for pricing or specs, again, for anything I've shown you in this video, we have some links down in the description below. If you have any questions, if there's something in this video that I did not answer for you, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.